we're in the MTV era now. We're no longer FM. MTV's been out for 3 years, so that's taken as far as people are used to it. But as we go down, we have Down Under. Everybody knows that. Beat It, another one. I mean, this Maneater, she's a maniac. Any of these, Troy, you want to comment on? Come on, Eileen. See, now, Come on, Eileen is, again, I'm not trying to make some lame connection, but Come on, Eileen, and look at Love is Like Oxygen. You sort of see that progression, how you get that sort of hoppy sort of singing with this basic background,
Come on, Eileen.
I
Yeah,
think.
I thought that was Dixie's Midnight, not Dexie's.
Yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
that might have been a lame explanation. I'll elaborate that. I'm
On
not really sure
Golden
I said that
Earrings,
correctly.
Twilight Zone, because I mean, Rush, Iron Maiden, and Golden Earring all had a song called Twilight Zone about the same within the same 5 years.
Well, the good news is Iron Maiden at least didn't put words to it. So
Right.
wasn't that it? That was the instrumental, yeah. And then the Rush version, and then this one here. Our Love is in Jeopardy, Elective Avenue. Let's just go down to the bottom. Let's see, what is the last one? Fall in Love with Me, Breaking Up His Heart. Oh, wow. Yeah, it gets rough. It gets
Isn't it like
rough when you get down here.
this is about the era I
This is
got into metal, and so all this was too pop for me. This was
Yeah, and see,
MTV's job.
I think that's part of the thing with MTV. When MTV came along, and whether it did it directly or otherwise, it sort of divided music into camps. Now you
Yeah.
had certain kinds of things you listen to, whereas before it was just like, okay, here everything is. What do you like? But now we had different ways of looking at it. And by the time we get to 1983, we're looking at a top 100 that you and I don't recognize. And this is, that some people might recognize, but probably nobody recognizes all of it because they had divided us into camps. This is like early how we are today in the United States as it applies to the music scene. And so for Gen X, I think this was the beginning of the fracturing, I think, of our approach to music in general, because we no longer had this sort of unified push. We were now compartmentalized, marketed, and divided, and turned into fad material.
Yeah. Yeah, then Madonna came out, who was a product of MTV, that once she came out, that kinda ruined MTV right there at the beginning. She wouldn't have been anything without MTV, and at that time, if you weren't on MTV, you weren't really gonna be anybody, and that's why I liked heavy metal a lot.
Right. I mean, in those days, if you did not have a video in 1980 or 1981 and you're a band, it was going to be that much more hard for you to get, really promoted because they wanted to have a video. You had to be on MTV. And if you didn't, you might as well have been in 1965.
Yeah, I remember seeing well, they didn't call them videos, they called them promotional films before MTV, and seeing "Breaking the Law" by Judas Priest on MTV, like, "What is this?" Hmm.
Hmm.
Remember the first time
That's
you
an
saw, like, Judas Priest on VH1, and you're like, "Uh-oh, what happened?"
Yeah, the first time you saw him on it's the first time you saw a video on MTV versus the first time maybe in 1982 or 83 you saw a simulcast on your box. We had a pirated box, the kind with it was like a black box, had a red dot on it, light that came on. It got HBO for us, and that's how I saw the Rolling Stones play one of their final tours back in like 1980, 82 or whatever. It was from like Canada, and seeing that versus the Start Me Up video, night and day. And Start Me
Yeah.
Up video, garbage at that point. Then it was, at least they were still a real band. But that
Well,
quickly
then
faded because, I mean, even live performance today is a thing of past. And I don't want to jump too forward to commentary today, but yeah, that was really that was the first chip in the stone.
they had the Rolling Stones did that "Waiting on a Friend" song, that was such a horrible video,
Exactly.
and made me, really not like the Rolling Stones much anymore.
Well, at some
Well,
point,
I
I'm going
did
to
like
talk
him.
about, no, well, everybody liked them. No, if there's a person out there in the world that doesn't like the Rolling Stones, I don't know. Don't visit America. I don't know. I'm speaking on behalf of all of us. Stay home. Stay home. At least that.
Stay
There's got to be one song. Come on. Yeah. Something's got to work. Just look at Keith Richards. The guy has not aged in 80 years, so he looks as young as he ever did.